What's up, Bears fans? Harrison Graham here with an episode of Chicago Bears Now. And on today's show, we're going to take a look at 5 Bears trade candidates, 5 players I think could be on the move this offseason. And speaking of trades, speaking of all of you that I'm talking to, I want to hear your trade ideas. Comment your best trade ideas in the comment section of this video and be specific. The juicier ones, the better. Say, hey, I'm going to trade X player for X round pick, whatever the case may be. If you want to trade players away, bring players in, I don't care what it is. If we get enough good ones, we'll build an entire video around it. So comment your Bears trade ideas right now. Okay, obviously the first one is Justin Fields. Whether we like it or not, he very well could get traded this offseason, as the Bears' quarterback decision is very much in flux. A lot of chatter that's taken place, especially with Super Bowl week. Everyone in Vegas chatting it up, rumors flying around all over the place. Now, Justin Fields is a good quarterback. He's a starting quarterback in this league. His services will be desired by some teams out there. The only question is, what teams and how much will they offer the Bears? And will the Bears ultimately decide to trade him? That remains to be seen, but he's absolutely a trade candidate that could fetch something on the open market. Now, I think at this exact point in time, these are the 5 teams that I think make the most sense for Justin Fields. I think Atlanta and Pittsburgh are the clear top 2 at this point. I've said it before, I'll say it again. Atlanta would have been a playoff team with Fields last year. The Steelers won 10 games without him with garbage QB play. They might have won 12 if they had him. Washington, if they obviously don't get Caleb because the Bears decide to, but decide they like Fields better than Drake May or Jaden Daniels, they could make sense. New England at 3 could be in a similar boat, depending on what quarterbacks are available with that 3rd pick. And then I think Seattle's an interesting one. They could trade him, sit him behind Geno Smith for 1 year, and then maybe he takes over in 2025. I've taken the Raiders off. I just don't think a Luke Getsy, Justin Fields reunion makes sense. Could it happen? I guess, but that would surprise me. And what's interesting is Adam Schefter said this week, we talked about this on the one of our earlier episodes this week, that he wouldn't be surprised if Justin Fields fetched the 1st-round pick. Now, I think it depends on who's trading for him, right? Like, I don't think Atlanta's trading the number 8 pick for him, but could Pittsburgh trade 20? Maybe. So I think you're going to get at least a 2nd for him if you decide to move him. Maybe a 1st. We'll have to wait and see how it all plays out. All right, let's stick with the offense here. Khalil Herbert, running back for the Bears, who's entering the final year of his rookie contract. And look, whether he's here or not next year, this was a good draft pick by Ryan Pace, the former GM. You found this guy in the 6th round. He's been very productive all 3 years. He's never been that full-time starter. Like rookie year came in, was that clear number 2 behind David Montgomery. 2022 got to start some of the year with Montgomery injured, led the NFL in qualified running backs and yards per carry because he reached the threshold in terms of total carries, which I think he had to be a minimum of 100. This year started out good, had that high ankle sprain, took a while to find his groove again and then finish strong. I like Khalil Herbert, but he has some minor injury issues. He's entering the last year of his contract, and we haven't seen him prove to be a 17-game lead back. I do wonder if Ryan Poles will consider taking a look at a free agent running back this offseason, and if he does, maybe he considers trading Khalil Herbert. Like, I look at a Derrick Henry, a Saquon Barkley, a Josh Jacobs as 3 guys that are proven kind of workhorses, right? And look, you don't have to force it. I'm not a big pay top dollar to running backs, but I'm not convinced these 3 guys either are going to get massive contracts on the open market. Like, I think they're all going to be in that $10 million per year range, and I don't think any of them are going to get more than 2 years on a contract. So, if you can get Derrick Henry for 2 years and $18 million, I'm very intrigued by that. And I think that scenario of kind of committing to that true RB1 to help Justin Fields or a rookie quarterback, and then that opens the door to potentially trading Khalil Herbert, get something for him, and then roll with Roschon Johnson as your RB2. You got Travis Homer under contract. You could keep him as RB3, or you could draft someone in the later rounds like Khalil Herbert to get on a cheap rookie contract. Because in all reality, if you keep Khalil Herbert, which I'm open to, it's probably his last year here. I don't think you're going to give him a 2nd contract. So you could certainly just restart there on the draft, later round pick, have that person be RB3, you sign a true RB1, have Roschon be your RB2. Now, should the Bears upgrade a running back at that kind of workhorse spot? What do you guys think? Type Y for yes, type N for no. Like I'm open to the committee thing again, but I think it kind of yielded inconsistent results last year, if we're being completely honest. So I would like to do it as long as the price is not outrageous, and quite frankly, I don't think it will be. So I'm going to type my Y for yes. More trade candidates to come, but first, let's talk about today's sponsor. That is Prize Picks. You can get a $100 deposit match when you sign up right now at prizepicks.com/CLNS. Use our code CLNS to get that deposit match. Daily fantasy made easy. You pick 2 to 6 players on any given entry, and then you cash in, right? Like you use the stat projections that they offer, just like they do for the Super Bowl here. They're giving you a deal for Patrick Mahomes, half a passing yard. You take the more there, and then go from anywhere to 2 to 6 players total. I got a 4-player entry here, 10 to win $100. Isaiah Pacheco, I think he finds the end zone on Sunday. He's been a touchdown machine. Deebo Samuel, I think the Chiefs do a really good job defending receivers through the air, but sometimes that leads to leakage out of the backfield, so I think Christian McCaffrey will hit the more on his receiving yards. Go check it out. Go sign up. PrizePicks.com/CLNS. Use the code CLNS. A cool thing, too, is a lot of celebrities are partnered with PrizePicks, and you can see some of their entries right now on their app for Super Bowl Sunday. So if you want to tail Meek Mill or someone else on PrizePicks, go do so. Link is in the comments and in the description. PrizePicks.com/CLNS. Use the code CLNS right now. Velus Jones Jr., we talked about him on our cut candidates video. I do wonder and think that potentially you could get a late round pick for him on the trade market, not necessarily based on anything he's done with the Bears. I mean, the numbers are the numbers, right? Like through 2 seasons, he's been mostly non-existent. I mean, he was even better as a rookie than he was his second year, which is a bit of a surprise, but he's young, still youngish. He was an old rookie, 3rd year on his rookie deal. He ran a 4.32, I think, at the 40-yard dash. He's a good kick returner. Like, I could see a team throwing you a 6th or 7th round pick, or doing the classic, hey, we'll give you a 6th for Velus Jones and a future 7th or something like that. So wouldn't be shocked if Velus got flipped at some point in the offseason. Wouldn't be shocked if Shane Waldron took a look at him and thought maybe he could figure something out with him that Luke Getsy couldn't. He's a name to follow this offseason in a lot of regards. Subscribe to the channel. We're 100% free here at Chicago Bears Now. We're publishing the latest news, rumors, trade buzz like this, and much more. So don't miss out. Hit that sub button, turn on notifications, and we appreciate your support. Okay, Braxton Jones now as we get to the offensive line. This is going to wow some people, shock some people, and I do want to make it clear off the bat here before I get to my talking point. I am not advocating for this. I do not even think this will necessarily happen. And yes, this will catch people off guard, like I said. But at the same time, I think there is a very unique avenue where you could consider trading Braxton Jones. So hear me out here. Braxton Jones, as you look at this offensive line, is a good player. I would say he's an above average left tackle. He's solid. You kind of know what he is. The anchor isn't great. I don't know if he's ever going to add that elite strength there to slow down awesome bull rushers, but he's athletic. For a 5th round pick, he's been more than serviceable. I think he would start at left tackle for a third of the league, maybe close to half, but he's never going to be a Pro Bowler, right? Well, Ryan Poles, who has an offensive line background, who took Darnell Wright in the 1st round last year, what if he just loves one of these guys? All 3 of these guys are left tackle prospects. Joe Alt, Olu Fashanu, Telias Fuaga out of Oregon State, who's been rising. What if he sits there and says, hey, I like Braxton, but if I think one of these guys could be an all-pro and Darnell Wright has all-pro potential at number 9 overall, or maybe even trade down a couple of spots, I could see him considering that. So it is a long shot, this avenue, but, and I've been asked this too, if you do draft a left tackle, where does that leave Braxton Jones? Sure, he could be your swing tackle, and for a 5th round pick, that's still valuable, but I do wonder if you would consider trading him because he has almost 2 full seasons of starting under his belt, quality film on tape, and I think you might be able to get a middle round pick for him. You drafted him in the 5th, you might be able to get a 3rd or a 4th for a team that needs a left tackle for 2024, because I'm not sure Braxton Jones can kick inside and play guard. That's his biggest weakness, is he lacks that strong anchor. So if that's true against certain edge rushers, what's he going to do going up against these big-time defensive tackles? Like, I worry about that. Plus, are you going to get rid of Tevin Jenkins? We'll talk about Nate Davis in a second, a little teaser. But I think if Braxton Jones isn't your starting left tackle, I think trading him could actually give you more value than keeping him as your swing tackle. Now, what say you? Will Braxton Jones be the Bears' left tackle in 2024? Type 1 for yes, 2 for no. I still think the answer is yes. And like I said, I'm not advocating for this. I'm just saying if they do upgrade at left tackle, I could see the scenario where, say, on draft night, they take a tackle. On day 2 or day 3 of the draft, maybe they're, shopping Braxton Jones behind closed doors for a draft day type of deal. Let's talk about another lineman here, Nate Davis, who had a bit of a tumultuous first season with the Bears after signing that deal from Tennessee. It was like a 3-year deal, $30 million. They could save, I think, $6 million if they were to find a trade partner against the cap. Had the death in the family, so he missed most of training camp, which that was kind of handled weird at the time. I thought he played pretty good in the middle of the year, but then he had an ankle sprain. He came back. I didn't think he finished that strong. PFF isn't the end-all, be-all, but he didn't grade out that well. I would grade him a little higher than this based on how he played, but the film was inconsistent. It definitely was. And I do think adding a guard is a possibility for the Chicago Bears. Tevin Jenkins is in the final year of his rookie deal. We know he has an injury history. Nate Davis also has a bit of an injury history, and he didn't play that well last year. What if they add someone in the draft and they get him into these mini camps and they just love him? They're like, he's ready to start. Maybe you trade Nate Davis around training camp. Like maybe a team needs a starting guard and you flip him elsewhere. Again, it's kind of like the Braxton category where I don't think this happens. I would expect Nate Davis to be your starting right guard next year, but there is a scenario where I could see the Bears flipping him if there's a guy ready to plug in and play at that guard position. Now, name a player the Bears should trade. Obviously, we talked about Justin Fields, talked about Khalil Herbert, Tevin Jenkins, Nate Davis. Maybe there's someone else that I'm missing. Let me know down in the comment section down below who you would like to see the Bears trade. And remember, send in those specific trade ideas, best trade ideas, get on a future episode. All right, guys, my name is Harrison Graham. Appreciate you for tuning in to Chicago Bears Now. We will be back later with another episode here on the channel. So hit that sub button. We'll see you next time.